So I thought it would be fun to talk about bras and being bra red pilled. I think I mentioned a couple of months ago in a video that I was being bra red pilled, and at the time I thought that I was being creative calling it that, but I've since realized that a lot of people in the bra community refer to basically the small range of available sizes that are available in, like, malls as matrix sizes. And the idea is that when you're in the bra matrix, you think that all bras don't have any numbers smaller than 34 or 32 and don't have any letters larger than like double D or triple D. And that once you find out that there's actually all these other sizes of bras and you're probably one of them, then you're being bra red pilled and you're not in the bra matrix anymore. So the reason I wanted to make a video about this now is just like, well, I'm just going to tell my bra story, but basically when I got bra red pilled in like December or January, I think it's just a really easy thing to get really geeky about, and I think there's a few reasons for that. One is bras are interesting. Two is it's kind of, I guess it's hard not to be fascinated once you realize that like there is this kind of like conspiracy where big bra, or I guess it would be more accurately called small bra because most bras are too small for most people, but it's kind of interesting and enraging once you realize like that most people don't understand how bras actually work and most people are physically uncomfortable because of it. And also I think it's just kind of fun in a narcissistic way, the same way that it's kind of fun to do your star chart or try to figure out what your Myers-Briggs personality type is, because like, once you really get up your own ass about bras and you spend so much time trying to figure out what's the best size for you and like what shape you are, because there's so many different shape considerations. Like before being bra red pilled, like I only knew about like a very small amount of bra styles, and like to the extent that bras look different, I just thought that it was the same as color. Like I didn't really realize that the reason a lot of different styles and shapes exist is because they fit different people better and worse. Anyway, once you get to the point where you're obsessively thinking about what your shape is and what your size is and like all these other features and trying to figure out what kind of bras you want to wear and like trying different bras, and you get to the point where you're like, trading and selling them with other people on the internet and just hanging around bratabase and braswap, which are some of the sites where you can do that. Basically, that's all really entertaining stuff to do, and at least in my case, I was doing lots of reading and thinking about this stuff for quite a while before I actually tried on or shopped for anything, just because it was really fascinating. So I just thought that I would try to bra red pill any of my viewers who are bra red pillable, because it's a really entertaining time suck to get involved in right now. The only thing I'm a little bit hesitant about is I feel, so basically the main place to get bra red pilled is the subreddit abrathatfits. People talk about this stuff all the time, and they also have a really complicated calculator that you can use to try to figure out what size you should actually be wearing. But the only thing I don't like about abrathatfits is that people there often encourage buying things from Amazon and using Amazon to get the right bra. And even though it can be hard to find like non-matrix sizes without using Amazon, like there's really a lot of other ways you can do it, and I'm just not super comfortable with it. And especially now, like using Amazon, I'm like, yeesh, like when I see people on there talking about it, I have to kind of hold myself back to keep from getting into a fight and getting downvoted within an inch of my life. So anyway, if you watch this and you get bra red pilled and you really want to try bras, there's somebody on the subreddit who has made this website called brashopdirectory.com, and you can use it to look up small businesses, and some of them have online stores, and it would be great to support a small business at this time. Or you can go on braswap or the bratabase listings, and you can like buy and like swap bras with people that are selling their used bras, which is kind of cool. I have just for months, long before quarantine, I was trying to figure out like if I could get up the courage to order some of like the weird, interesting used bras that I saw online. And finally I got bored enough that like last week I finally bought some from somebody. And my ultimate goal is to review all of my bras on here, but that will be in the sequel to this video because I basically couldn't wait to actually get them, and I wanted to make a pre-video all about my bra red pilling process. But if I never make a sequel to this video, you can safely assume that once I got those weird bras that I ordered on the internet, they didn't fit and I was too disappointed and I didn't want to talk about it. Anyways, so if you don't want to just read and measure yourself and think about stuff and navel gaze about like what size and shape you are, I mean, actually don't look into your navel to try to figure out how big your breasts are, because it won't work. That's not where they are. But yeah. Anyway, if you actually want to buy stuff, I hope that you will consider not doing it through Amazon, because yikes, especially now. Yeah. So basically the thing is, I don't know why it's like interesting to hear the same story again and again, but I always do find it interesting to like read and hear different people's experiences. Basically every person who uses the Bra That Fits calculator goes on and they're like, I'm a 34C, and then like they use the calculator and it's like, you're a 28G, and the person is like, everybody comes on and is like, how can I be a 28G? That size doesn't exist. Like, I've never heard the number 28. I've never heard the letter G. And besides, any letter bigger than D must be like, incredibly, unusually, like visibly larger than most people. And if I think that I look average, then it's impossible for me to be a G, or whatever letter I just said in my example. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's not the case, basically. That's basically the whole thing. Like, all those other letters aren't actually that big, and the thing with the numbers is called +4, and the cynical explanation for this method is that, big bra or small bra is trying to make everybody use like the limited number of matrix sizes, and they don't actually go. The number is supposed to represent how long this part of the bra is, the part that goes around your ribs, and like basically it should be about the size of your rib cage. The same way that if you were buying pants, you wouldn't want to buy pants that are like, several inches larger than like your hips or your waist, like they would just fall off. Or you wouldn't want to buy shoes that are like 4 inches wider than your feet. But with the bra thing, if they get you to measure your rib cage and then add 4 inches to it, then they don't have to make bras that are in like, 28 inches, 30 inches, 32 inches, which are actually the size of a lot of people. And so then they can, trick you into getting like 34 or 36 when it's actually way too big. But what do you know? Like, yeah. So my thing is, and I think this is the case for a lot of people, I literally didn't know that. I don't think I really understood like what a bra size even meant. Like, I don't think I even knew that the number was the band that goes around your ribs, and that the letter was like how much bigger the cups were than the band, because the letter actually relatively changes in comparison to how big or small the band is, but that's kind of hard to explain without like a visual. You should just Google sister sizes and you'll probably find a decent explanation. So, but yeah, basically my whole life I started out wearing a 34B, and I thought that was like basically the smallest size that there was. And so in my mid-20s I got to a point where, please don't be creepy, I literally couldn't fit into it anymore. I was like popping out of it. So I kind of randomly added letters and numbers and ended up at like 36C, which I didn't pop out of. I could see that I wasn't being supported, so I went to 34D because I sort of had the sense that that was about the same size. But basically I've had chronic pain for years, and it's not just because of this, but this has been, there's lots of ways that I can address having chronic pain, like doing physical therapy or trying to wear clothes that I don't find to be like physically uncomfortable, which can like really add to pain for me. Yeah, or sitting in certain ways, moving in certain ways that create less pain. But when it came to bras, I thought that I like just didn't have any choice but to be in pain, because I just didn't know what to do. Like, I could feel that I wasn't being supported, and like I felt like my bra often was going to like fall off, and then like I would try to tighten the straps really tight, or I would try to tighten the band really tight, or I would try to get like a smaller size, like a smaller cup size or something. And when I did those things, it really would cause like a lot of muscle pain and back pain, and like often when I tightened it really tight, even though it was actually less tight than my bras are now, but because it didn't fit, I would end up like having so much like weird muscle pain in my middle back that I would feel like nauseous by the end of the day, and yet like I still wasn't actually being supported and was just dreading like dancing or moving around or anything, which was all really frustrating. But like I just didn't know what to do. And when you look online how to measure yourself, a lot of mainstream bra retailers will tell you to do it in a way that doesn't make sense. They tell you to make your band size much bigger than your ribs, and then they tell you to calculate your cup size in a way that makes it much smaller, like even much smaller than it should be considering you're wearing a large band. The way they have you subtract it, honestly, I think is basically a math mistake, because they're telling you to subtract they're telling you to subtract your rib cage from like your all-around measurement, but then like they're already adding numbers to the rib cage, so you get like a much smaller, like if your boobs are like this big, then they make it like here, so you got a measurement of like this, and it's like not going to go in because it's not the right size. So yeah, basically whenever I would try to do that, I would get a size that was like smaller than what I was already wearing, and like so I couldn't even try that size because I knew I wouldn't be able to fit in it. So I would just give up. So there I was wearing my sad 34D bras that were like extremely cheap from Target. I was being terrible, washing them in the washing machine and the dryer, which I knew was wrong, but I mean, I just hated them so much and I didn't know what to do. One day, I sadly went to my landlord and I was like, there's something wrong with the washing machine because I found this big piece of metal in it. So then I just wanted to crawl under a rock because my landlord was like, this piece of metal obviously just came out of a bra. So I had to realize that I actually shouldn't have done my bras in the dryer for my entire life, because it caused them to break down so much that the wires just came out. And I think at this point I didn't even know enough about bras to know that they like had wires in them, which is pretty weird now to me. But at this point, this was like a couple of months ago, and like at this particular point, I didn't feel like I had the time or money to shop for a new bra. So I dug out this like weird bra that I had gotten on sale, which was 32 double D. And at the time, I was like, 32, like what a small number. It can't possibly be big enough for my rib cage. Double D, like what a big number. It can't possibly be small enough for my breasts. And like, it looked different from like any bra I had ever seen. Like I think I had just always worn these really basic bras that basically look kind of like a bikini. Like you just have the cups and they're just kind of barely attached to each other, and you just have like a string going around your back. Like it wasn't enough support. This isn't like the bra. This is just the one I'm not wearing right now. But as you can see, it just has more of an actual band. So it's got the cups, but then like there's this whole part. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm just saying there's like a lot more support going on in terms of like under the cups and the way it goes around your back. And it has 3 hooks instead of 2, which I didn't even know existed back in the day. But yeah, I had gotten this new bra and it like covered so much more and supported so much more. And at very first, like the first day or so, I was like, oh, it's too tight, and I was getting like this weird nerve pain, but at the same time, like all the muscle pain that I used to have had gone away. Like pretty soon the nerve pain also went away, and I was feeling super great. So I had to realize that maybe I should actually learn more about bras and sizing and stuff. And yeah, I had been too lazy to ever use the Bra That Fits calculator because, it requires like so many different measurements, but I finally actually did it. The problem is I still was at this point where I was really obsessed with the idea like, oh, if I find the correct size, like all my bras will always fit and I'll always be comfortable, which isn't true, because like there's the whole style issue where like if you're wearing the wrong style, it still isn't going to work. And I also think that if you wear a band size that is the correct size and you're wearing the wrong style, like it will actually look much more awkward and feel much worse than if you were wearing it with like a bigger band, because if your breasts are getting all squished in your bra and they're trying to escape, like, they can escape into the band if the band is too big, but if the band is really tight, there's just nowhere for them to go. So then you're just really suffering. But anyway, so I spent lots of time reading and thinking about bras and obsessively measuring myself. And I went through 3 different measuring tapes because like they all had different kind of textures and degrees of like springiness and stretchiness, and I just wasn't sure which was like the most accurate. So basically I went through several different, like, I would often get several different results from like 30E, 30F, 30FF, 30G, like 28G and 28GG were sort of like the range of results that I was getting. So these are British sizes, by the way. Like, I feel like a lot of Americans start out measuring themselves and thinking that they're gonna get things in US sizes, but like, it's hard to think of like any American brands that have like a wide range of sizes, and like you just won't be able to get your size really. So just like, you might as well just get adjusted to UK sizes like immediately. Anyways, so I wasn't really sure. I had this whole range of sizes and I wasn't sure which one was like correct. And I will say one thing that's a little bit annoying about the braswap subreddit is that like they're like always really concerned that people might not have actually measured themselves with the calculator. So whenever you ask a question about like any random thing, like somebody always pops up and is like, what are your 6 measurements from the calculator? And like, you know, sometimes it's relevant, but sometimes it's like not relevant to your question. So like, you know, even if you like go ahead and like tell them your measurements, then like, you know, they kind of have to be like, oh, well, you know, that doesn't actually have anything to do with what you asked. And like sometimes it's like, dude, I measured myself with the calculator. Like, you don't need to know my measurements to like offer advice on what I just asked you. If you don't have any advice, like me telling you my measurements is not gonna help. Whatever. But anyway, I measured and measured and measured, and I still had a range of like 6 different sizes that I thought might be the right size, which, you know, again, doesn't really exist. With some things you might need to go up or down based on style and, you know, how true to size it is and lots of stuff. Sorry, my feet are falling asleep. I was kneeling while I was making this video, which is one of the dumbest things to do for my body, because I have really poor circulation and now my feet are asleep. Okay. Awesome. So, why did I think this was a good idea? If you only knew like the sheer amount of different setups I have to support my camera when I'm talking. I don't know what other people do. Oh great, now I dropped this on my computer, which I was using as a support. It's opening iTunes, it's playing a bunch of random stuff. Okay, sorry. So yeah, I got to the point where I decided to actually try bras, and because of like kind of where I am, like given that I'm sort of at like 30FF, 30G type, it's kind of like there's not, I wouldn't be able to get something like at Target probably, but if I go to like Nordstrom or Nordstrom Rack, like I am sort of at the point where like I'm usually able to find something in my size, whereas if you go up to like higher sizes, like if you're like, I don't know, like a 28J or something like that, then you're like really fucked, and you can only go to like really specialty stores or get stuff online. So I'm fortunate that I can sometimes get stuff at Nordstrom Rack. Anyway, so I went to Nordstrom Rack and I was frantically doing calculations in my head. Now I'm just like, it's really easy for me to sister size and figure out like, oh, if I thought I was going to get this in a 28 band, like what would it be in a 32 band? Or like, it's pretty easy for me to switch back and forth between like US and UK sizes, because I've just spent so much time geeking out about it. But at this point, I was having a hard time because I was looking at all different bras. Some were UK and some were US. And I also was looking at 32 bands, so I was trying to figure out, okay, you know, what would this 30 band size be in a 32 band? But anyway, after working around the Nordstrom Rack, I was finally very excited to get my haul of bras to try on, and which were kind of in the 30F, 30FF range. And I tried them all on. It was a horrible experience, and I felt like worse about my body than I've ever felt. So that was really disappointing. And I think what happened was, I had never tried things with like a band that was actually the size of my body, so I had never had to like accept the fact that like molded foam cups, which are the types of cups that most bras have, like don't actually work for me, which is actually the case for a lot of women. They just get squished by them. And yeah, so I put on all these bras and they just completely squished me, and I like didn't understand what was going on. And I was like, wait, so was the calculator wrong? Am I actually just like several cup sizes larger than I thought? That's confusing. Yeah, so I was really frustrated, wasn't sure what to do. Then I ended up going to regular Nordstrom, which was really stupid because the whole reason I was putting off shopping for bras was because I thought it was too expensive. And then I go to regular Nordstrom, where the bra that I eventually got was like $70, which is really more than I think you need to pay for a bra, even if you have a weird size. But like once you kind of know what your size and shape is, like, you know, you can find ways to get them cheaper online and stuff like that. But I did not know at the time. So I got this bra and I could see that it like fit, it was the right size, so that was really exciting. But after a couple of days, it started to really hurt. I don't have it with me right now because I don't wear it because I hate it, but it started to hurt in all these weird ways, like I felt like I couldn't breathe and all of this stuff. And when I asked for advice on the subreddit, like people were invariably like, oh, this band size is too small, maybe you should go up to a 32 instead of 30. And I just like, I didn't really feel like that. Like, it's funny because I think even when I talk to people who are really into bras about having chronic pain, I don't know, I think maybe people can't relate or they have a slightly different experience, because I feel like people often try to give me the advice of using certain kinds of bra bands that I don't actually like, or just going to a bigger band, and neither of those things is really like it for me. Like, I don't have any of the bands with me that I don't like, but like, so I feel good in a band like this because it's like soft, but it's like wide and it just like covers a lot of space. And because I think because the weight of the breasts is like on like a wider amount of my body instead of like a thin band like this, it feels a lot better. And then like any kind of band that is supposed to be fancy and has like lace and stuff like that, or like any kind of band that is like really thin, like with my old bras, that always just like squeezes me and really hurts. And like the wider it is, the less it squeezes, and so like basically the better it feels. Like even if something is tighter, if it's wide, it doesn't hurt. So I kind of thought this was true, but I wasn't really sure what to think. So I still, I held out hope of going to a Revelation and Fit, which is this bra store in San Francisco and Oakland that was founded by somebody from the subreddit. So they were into the like, you know, it's founded on basically these internet bra fitting principles where they really want everybody to find the right size, and they're really nice and supportive. So I was like, okay, when I go to this store, like everything will be fixed and I'll know my exact size. So, was that true? No. I did have a good experience, but yeah, I think I kind of came to realize that there wasn't a perfect size. Like, I went in and like showed her the horrible bra that I had gotten that like did fit but that really hurt, and I was like, oh, is this the wrong size? Like, I was expecting her to be like, I think I had this idea that maybe the reason these hurt was that they were too small, and that like somebody was going to be like, oh no, you're actually like an H cup, and that's why like these are hurting. Like the calculator just gave you a size that's like way too small. But instead she was like, that does fit. And like as usual, I did a bad job explaining why I have pain in bras, because I think a lot of the ones that she brought me, like that she thought would be less painful, that she thought would be like softer and stuff like that, didn't necessarily have that effect on me. But it was still really helpful and educational to like see the different bras that the fitter brought. And like, I think one thing I realized, that like all the obsessing over my size and thinking that all these bras that I had tried were the wrong size, like she was bringing me bras that were like basically, I was basically right when I first did the calculator about like the range that I was in. Yeah, it was basically pretty much right the first time. And I also think like when you read all these blogs about like how to tell if something doesn't fit, I think you can get like a bit like overstressed about it, because like I think I had a tendency to like try to try on bras, and if like I was hunching over my shoulders like this and they were like lifting off of my breast, I would be like, oh, they're too big, they don't fit, or something. Or if I was like this and they were like cutting in, I was like, oh, they're too small. And she was like, if you hunch your shoulders, like they obviously aren't going to look perfect from every angle and in every position. Like, I think seeing what the fitter judged to be like a good fit kind of helped me realize that in some cases I was like fussing too much about fit. It was a good experience though. I mean, once they're open again, I would recommend anybody go there because what I really appreciated was I was obviously super nervous. I really don't like to be helped in stores, but the way a lot of bra stores work that are like specialty fancy bra stores are that you just go in and like the person just talks to you and brings you bras, and you can't actually go pick out bras for yourself. They like pick ones that they think will fit for you. And so that was weird for me, and I felt really awkward and shy, but she was being really nice. And she also really made a point of saying, like, you know, if you try something on and you bring it home and you wear it for a while and it starts to hurt, like, you should return it. And she was like really specific. She was like, you should wear it for 2 hours, and like after you wear it for 2 hours, it will probably get to the point where, you know, you can't really return it anymore because it's been worn too much. So you really should like, but you should wear it around for a while to know what it feels like. And you know, you should wear it up to the point that you can return it. I don't know. Basically, she was really specific and helpful to make sure that I would be able to make sure they didn't hurt and that I would be able to return them if I needed to. So that was super nice. Anyway, I ended up getting this bra, which I initially thought was perfect. Like, this is kind of a reoccurring theme. It's really common for me to get a bra and be like, this is the perfect bra. Like, I think I had this fantasy that I would find the perfect bra and I would wear only that style of bra. And like, what people have told me and what I've also realized is that, at least for me, if I try to wear the exact same bra like every day, it will eventually start to hurt. Like, if it's a pretty good fit and I like it and it's comfortable, it won't hurt right away or anything. But if I wear the same one for like a week, it will eventually start to hurt a little bit in a certain way. And so really the best thing to do is to like switch a few out, and like if they all feel good for a few days, you should just switch between them instead of wearing one for so long that it like starts to bug you. I don't know what the exact explanation for this is, but that is the way that it is for me. Oh, I've also found that like the first day or so with like a new bra, it does tend to be kind of painful no matter what. Like this bra, which is the one that I got, it's Curvy Cape Victory, and it's like, there's some stuff about it that's annoyed me over time, and it always looks kind of awkward. It's just something about the way the fabric is that it tends to look wrinkly no matter what. But there's a lot of great things about it. It's really comfortable and supportive. But the first time that I wore it, it literally like was so sharp on the edge that it like cut my skin, but only for the first day, and ever since then it's been normal. I like how I'm trying to do this like really positive review of how much I love this bra, and I'm like, oh, it cut me. Like, I think there is an extent to like if you read Bratabase, which is mostly people's reviews of bras, like you'll like read reviews and like no matter how much somebody loves a bra, like there's always just some like absolutely awful comment that they have about, you know, oh, it actually just like really pinches me in the arm, or you know, like, oh, it actually doesn't really fit at all like in this certain way, but like it's still really great. I still like it. It basically works. Which I guess makes sense because breasts are kind of specific and they need a lot of stuff. It's a lot harder than getting a shirt or something like that. Anyway, I am quite happy with this one, and it's in the size that I thought I was the entire time, so I wasn't really wrong about that. I forget where I was going with this. Anyway, the point is I went in and I like found this one, and even though I didn't end up getting any other ones that I liked, it was really helpful just to sort of see the way that the fitter approached things, because I think when I was trying to try on bras and like judge it completely from reading stuff on the internet, like, I don't know, there was some sort of like in-person knowledge that I needed to get that I didn't have. But now I feel like I just sort of have a better sense of like, hey, if something like is comfortable and like basically fits, that's good enough. I don't need to stress out about something being perfect, and I don't need to stress out if I have like bras that are in different sizes from each other, like, you know, because they all are different, and I basically just need to try to be comfortable. Yeah, so that's basically my bra journey so far. I don't really, even though I love reading Bratabase, I don't really write posts or reviews on there because I still feel like I'm at the point where I'm a little new to like knowing about my size and shape, and like I've learned a lot, but I also think like just the way that like some people talk about their breasts, like they use like 500 different terms for their breasts and they're all describing like really specific aspects of their shape, but like you know, a regular person would have like no idea what they're talking about. And I think I'm at the point where like I understand maybe like 50% of it. But I definitely don't feel ready to be like, I'm blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to post reviews because I'm afraid of confusing other people by misdiagnosing what I am. So other people will think that like they can wear a certain bra and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, that's my bra journey. It's actually quite, like, I can see why people get really into this. I am. It is really frustrating that for like almost my entire life, I literally didn't know that my size was like not what I thought it was or that it even existed. Like, I think the lack of understanding that a band size could be smaller than 34 or a cup size could be larger than like double D really made it hard for me to even like figure out that I was wearing the wrong size or even like consider it or seek out information, because like if you just think that a certain size doesn't even exist, how could you even consider that that might be right? Like a lot of the time when I see people posting on a bra that fits and they're confused about their calculator result, you know, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I got 28H, I guess there's like an error because like that's not a real size. And if you think that's not a real size, like how are you supposed to figure out anything? Yeah, basically that's that. I hope to come back with a wonderful review of all of my exciting bras, but I currently not able to do it because they haven't arrived. But wish me luck.